Preparing here to go live stream. Looks like that is going to come up pretty quick. And here we are live streaming again. Great. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to come out of executive session and back into regular session. Made by Sherry, made by Tom, seconded by
I'll
Shay.
second it.
And note that no actions took place during executive session. So during an executive session, we had a discussion with the Citizens Advisory Board regarding a property in town that they have given some focus on towards its preserving, and because of its location and nature, it has more of a regional benefit rather than just a Shelton resident benefit. And so they have reached out to Rosa DeLaura, our federal congresswoman, and are asking for our support. So I would entertain a motion to write a letter of endorsement for that effort to Rosa DeLaura's office, and and outlining in that letter some of the environmental aspects that are important for the region that Teresa has identified through previous research, and other organizations that have identified it as an integral component of an environmental benefit. And then we should copy the mayor, Board of Aldermen, Planning and Zoning, Inland Wetlands, Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, and the Council of Governments that impacts both Orange and Stratford. I think those are two separate Council of Governments. Is there anyone else that you think would benefit Teresa from being a courtesy copy?
HVA.
Housatonic Valley Authority. Yep. They provide content to our Shelton Life publication pretty regularly for many, many years. They would be helpful too. All right, so that would be my suggested motion. I mean, I think I can make a motion actually as a chairman.
Yes, you can.
Okay, I make that motion. Second?
I don't see. I'll second it.
I know there's a delay in the video. So Tom Wilson seconding it, and myself making it. All in favor? Aye.
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 And the vote is unanimous. Next on our agenda, we have Bill Dyer, who's probably at the Boston Red Sox watching that at the moment. So we'll pass by that. But Teresa, you have anything? General report? Garden Committee finishing up the year of growing?
Let's see. Sure. Eklund Garden, we got some extra overflow volunteers at the last Trails Work Party to help fix up the fence and spread some wood chips. So that was good. I've been continuing to bring jugs of water to water these rhododendrons because it won't rain. The Birchbank Native Plant Management Area. Did you get that? I sent
You sent an email.
Just so you could see what it looks like if that's not being done. With the stilt grasses, it's really becoming, every year it becomes more of a problem, not just there, but like on many of our trails. And especially if you have a trail that is not used as heavily, it can get to a point where very suddenly you can't even tell there's a trail there.
Yeah.
Because this stuff grows really, really fast. It just bolts like end of August through September in particular. And it just, if the growing conditions are good, that stuff can really explode.
And it feels like it's very thick.
Yeah. What else? Community gardens, everything's fine there. Gearing up for fall cleanups, nothing for litter. I do have some encroachment updates for open space. The first one is 65 Little Fox Run. These were the ones that had previously, they had a long unauthorized trail, a big fire pit, a bunch of material storage, etc. And I had sent them a letter. They did respond promptly and said they would take care of it. And I did go out there and verify that they did in fact take care of it. There's still some litter in the area. I may contact them about that, but basically, they did address that. Then there was, let's see, 49 Little Fox Run. Oh, this was a new one. I received a complaint about, we have an access trail that was constructed when the Little Fox Run development was built by the water company with this really impressive staircase and everything. Anyway, one of the neighbors, okay, that's good. If you go over 4 more site, that was the first one. Okay, so this is another one. Yeah, that's the one I did before. So if you go over 3 properties, you see the little to the left, no, to the left there, right there. Good. Okay. If you see to the left of that, there's an open space. See that open space? Yeah, there you go. And then there's also a conservation easement for like another 10 feet to the right of that. And there's an access trail that goes through there. And I did
just a pause on it. This open space strip is shown as Fox Hollow neighborhood.
Yeah, it's
So it's
not
not
owned
city
by the
open
city.
space? Okay.
Right, it's private open space, but there's a pedestrian easement. And this is one where some years ago, it was actually someone from the neighborhood asked that the trail be established. There's an entryway that was built by the developers with the most grandiose granite staircase going up from the road to this trail. It's amazing.
I remember that.
Yeah. But anyways, the complaint was that some trees were being cut and that was blocking the trail. So I went out and checked, and sure enough, there was a very large twin oak, very large. It had fallen across the trail, and there was all kinds of debris from tree cutting. It was clearly that house there on the right. So I just walked up to the door and, knocked on the door, and one of the owners lived there, and I talked to her, and she played like she wasn't really aware of the issue. And I think she thought their property went all the way to, there's a stone wall on the far side of that along the left edge there. She probably thought her property went all the way down there. But anyway, she agreed to have the tree cutters were coming back on Monday, and she was going to have them clean that all up. And then in the meantime, when I was away on vacation, I did receive a call from a second person, all upset because it was all messy and so forth in there. So I did go there yesterday, and it had all been cleaned up. So I think that's fine. The tree itself was kind of right on the boundary of a conservation easement area, but it looked like it was forked, and it had, looked like at least one of the forks was leaning over the yard, and then the other one was brought down because it then was unstable because both forks were leaning quite a bit. So I didn't really have a big issue with that. And it
Teresa,
was all cleaned up.
question. These open space parcels are owned by the Fox Hollow neighborhood.
Correct.
What responsibility do you or we have as a city agency or resources to interact with that? Or do we have an easement in
We have
favor
an,
of the city
sure.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I consider it to be like it's private open space, but it is deed restricted, and it gives, we have the right as a city, we have the right to go and check that. We
Okay.
do.
Just
And then,
clarifying.
in addition, there's a conservation easement as well that extends beyond that open space.
Okay.
But anyways, I just, that particular subdivision over the years, it just seems to be one thing after another. And I think I'm going to send kind of a form letter to all of the residents of that subdivision, reminding them of how that was a conservation, whatever it was called, residential development. And there are a lot of private conservation easements on those parcels as well. And like I told the woman who lived at that last property there, when she said, "Oh, I didn't know," I said, "Well, it's your responsibility to know these things. It's all filed on the land records. You can hire surveyors, but it's your responsibility to know where your property ends and, any restrictions like conservation easements. You're required to know that."
Are you able to see the screen share of the names of owners?
Yeah.
So you might be
I
able
haven't
to.
had any problem from that particular owner.
I'm just saying, if you're sending a form letter,
Yeah, yeah.
you can
I
get a heads
usually
up
just
to
send it
certain
to
people.
addresses. And then the third one, also that same general area, but a different subdivision. 26 Round Hill Road. If you move to the north just a bit, there you go. That where Okonook and Round Hill Road join together, that property. It's 26 there, that one right there. It looks to me like over the summer they put in some on their south side there, and I think that house is drawn in the wrong spot, which would be unusual. But I think I'm not certain, but I think the house is about 25 feet from that boundary. But they've put in some retaining walls and fill and some clearing south of the house there on the side yard. And
Okay.
it's just something I just noticed this week, and I'm kind of trying to verify whether that's on. I suspect it's on partly on city property, but I need to gather more information. We
Okay.
may have to get it surveyed in order to really see. So we have that.
Okay.
All right, so that's all I have.
Okay. Terrific. I'm going to stop that sharing now. Well, actually, I can leave that up anyway. Um, anything you mentioned about the garden committee, and the garden is ending up. You had some
Yeah,
volunteers helping out.
it's been a good year. Yeah, we're at that point where, including my own plot, everybody's been on vacation and stuff like that. And some of the plots could start to look a little ratty, and we got to keep on top of things. And then just trying to get everybody to clean their plot out before all of the sudden, it gets dark early, and then there's just the weekends, and then you get rainy weekends, and it's cold, and all of a sudden it's the middle of November and it's snowing or something, and people still have all their tomatoes up. So if you don't stay on top of that, uh, the garden can become an eyesore over the winter.
Okay. Moving on to the next item then, I will make a motion that we establish our meeting dates for 2026 to be the first Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. That's January 7th, February 4th, March 4th, April 1st, May 6th, June 3rd, July 1st, noting that July 4th is the Saturday, August 5th, September 2nd, October 7th, November 4th, and December 2nd. Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second
Made
it.
by Sherry. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's one of those state requirements that we have to let them know what our regular meeting schedule is to the city clerk. So that's that done. Some of these were on here last month. I don't have too many updates. The first one though, this is the open space dedication for Gamble Place. I again sent an email to um, the P&Z chairwoman and the P&Z department head with Alexandria saying, hey, I just checked another time on the city records, the land records, which are updated nightly, and there is no transfer of the city open space from the Gamble Place subdivision on Long Hill.
I don't think P and Z has any control over that, though. That's up to I think it's the Board of Aldermen or the mayor as to whether they accept it.
Well, um,
The last I heard, and this is a long time ago, speaking with, I think it was Fran Teodosio, and he said all the paperwork was on the mayor's desk. This is a long time ago.
Oh, I have the email from Fran where he said that he would get back to me after he got back from vacation, and that was over a year ago.
Right.
Um,
But I
I,
had just bumped into him and asked him about it.
yeah, well, it's unacceptable. You know, the developer, the bond is gone, and what the heck? I know the mayor has a lot on his plate, but this is just dot the I,
But
cross
it,
the T, and moving on to the next stage.
but if somebody's got to own the property, and the developer's not going to want to hang on to it. They're going to want it to be um, uh, submitted to the city.
Yeah, I mean, there's
They're not
nothing
going to want it.
weird on the property, like, over on Independence Drive where there was an open space dedication that the city didn't want to take ownership of because it was a
Yes,
former dumping location, and then it kind
yeah, I
of
don't
died
know
on the
either.
vine with an entity that dissolved. Um, so uh, it's just
Maybe it's
painful.
just been overlooked.
Oh, I've been bringing it up repeatedly, and there's a difference between being overlooked and being ignored. So. And same thing goes for a lot of the other things on here. There's really not too many updates. Um, the only one I'll say is because I came by it just today, 48 Long Hill Crossroads. That's the body development there. Uh, I think I had mentioned at the last meeting that the cease and desist order had been lifted for only the portion of relocating the sewer line. And they have been down there, at least today, removing some of the timber that had been felled on the property, chipping up things and removing logs. So the site has had some activity on it after months of very little. I will also say that the 824 referral that the Board of Aldermen asked of Planning and Zoning to acquire the right-of-way along Bridgeport Avenue from the state of Connecticut, PNC said yes. And then the next month they were asked to dispose of the property, which Planning and Zoning said yes. So, not really much planning when one month you say one thing and the next month you say the other thing, and there's no commentary by any commissioner during that whole deliberation or request. I mean, that's just a personal thing. I think that's, I won't say anymore. So, um, then budget. There's nothing we're over budget on, Teresa. I'm sure we're fine.
We're
Um,
right at the beginning of the year.
yeah. And the open space trust account, that still has a negative balance as an asset account. Quality of life, we obviously discussed an important one there at the beginning in executive session. I don't think there is anything further at the moment. I haven't heard of any active new developments occurring. There's nothing on the city's website with new application documents. Um, but so we move on to comments by members. So, um, I will go first. And I had some success in my recent travels and returning with a wooden post that had me jump through some hoops. But I went to a sawmill and they had heat treated it and stamped it as they would for any wood that is used for pallet making in the European Union. So it should be able to travel anywhere. And then I met with the equivalent of the Department of Agriculture and Environment for the location there. And he looked it over and said, it looks pretty good. But I got to tell you, there was a lot of wormholes in this piece of wood that had accumulated over the years. But I got it. Printed all the paperwork and put 2 copies in the ski bag and brought it back with me and got to Newark and it wasn't there. And
No.
so here's the thing. When you come from Ireland, you go through immigration and customs in Ireland,
Right.
in Dublin. And so you go through a portal, then you go downstairs, and it's all now you're on US soil. And my bag, I'd already put it as my checked bag. So when it didn't come through the luggage carousel at Newark, I said, "Oh no. Well, let me go over to the oversized baggage area for skis or golf clubs," and I waited there, didn't show. So I'm moving over. So
No.
now I go over to the staff where they, if you have a missed bag or something, and I said, here's my tag number, and they look it up and said, "Oh, we show that it wasn't put on the plane," and I'm like, "Well, I'm looking at my United app, and it shows that it's here in Newark, so we got to figure this out." But I was a little bit worried that it had been commandeered over there, so it wouldn't even hit U.S. soil in case it was contaminated. But long story short, after about an hour, hour and a half of that, I said, "Let me check one more time at oversized bag." And as I'm walking in that direction, a United staff person was coming towards me with a bag that had a golf bag on it and my ski bag. And I said, "Praise the Lord." So I have it, and it will be a great surprise for my sister. So.
That's awesome.
That's
Right.
great.
So that's my journey over there. I got to visit a distillery and many places on the North Irish coast. So and then today I restarted the process of getting my Irish passport. So,
Great.
but unfortunately I wasn't able to meet with the architect because my flight was delayed in arrival. But he has turned out to be a bit of a celebrity architect, has done a number of shows for the BBC, and so I've been able to pretend that I'm in the UK with a VPN account, and then from there be able to watch BBC shows, several of which he has hosted, kind of like This Old House kind of thing. So it's nice actually to put a voice with the face that I may be interacting with. We're only going to do the preliminary stuff to get started with, but maybe I'll share in another email with you some of the stuff he's done. It's pretty interesting. He's done like containers that he's made into a office in a house and floated it above an old stone Irish foundation kind of thing. So, um, not that I would do that, but pretty interesting. So, oh, and then we had a
Cool.
car smash into the Irish house too. So it went
Oh,
right over the hedge, through a field, and smashed into the gable end of one of the buildings. So,
Wow.
and it was funny because the people who rent the farm, he didn't see it because it was so deep into the field and at the location you really can't see so well. And then Sunday he said, "Hey, what happened over here?" And so that's when he saw it. And then the same day, I had one of my cousin's daughters WhatsApped me a photo of it and said, "Oh, looks like you got some new neighbors or new visitors." So even though I'm far away, it's a great neighborhood watch. No, I've talked too long. So Tom, you're next one down the list on my as I look at things.
Oh, well, actually, I gotta jump off. I apologize, everybody. But Teresa, I saw Terry working hard out on the trail a couple with the chainsaw a couple weeks ago. We had a nice little
right.
conversation. So
Right. At Birchbank, was it?
yeah, he was working his butt off on a hot day
Yeah,
too.
there's more
Yeah,
trees to cut there too.
yeah. So if I didn't have my dog with me, I would have stayed and helped him out. But Penny was more trouble than not. But
Hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
so. Folks, I gotta jump off. I got somebody that just walked into the house. I gotta go say hello to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Okay,
Tom.
take care.
Take care, Tom.
See you next month.
Yep, very well. Teresa, you've had an adventurous time since our last meeting.
Woohoo! Yep. Completed the main Appalachian Trail. It's about 240 miles or something. And
Wow.
including the 100-mile wilderness and Katahdin and I think 4,000 footers. And I had spectacular weather for, especially for the 100-mile wilderness, which is it's infamous for the river crossings that have no bridges, and you have to ford the river, and it can be life-threatening if the water's high, but it's a drought. So they were pretty easy for me. So I was very happy about that. And had very little rain because of the drought, and no bugs. I just had because there was 3 separate trips. The first trip was very hot. It was in the 90s. And I
Wow.
had to go up Saddleback Mountain, which had no shade. It's known for, and I normally would have loved it because it's, the smooth granite with no trees in the top, just kind of went on and on and on. but on a day like that, and I had like an 8-day supply of food, I think it was, and 3 liters of water, which was like 6 pounds right there. My pack was real heavy, and temps in the 90s going up this mountain. That was pretty grueling. That may have been one of the hardest days I had. But other than that, it worked out great. And I'm psyched because now I have the Appalachian Trail done from Katahdin, which is the north end, all the way down to the middle of Pennsylvania.
Wow, Teresa, that's impressive.
It's
Yeah, it's
really
1,000
impressive.
miles.
I mean, that's I mean, I follow you on the social media thing, and the photos you had were like, oh my gosh, you got great weather, but what an accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. I didn't know if I was going to do Maine. Maine is notorious for being very, very difficult, and I thought about it for about a year because I said if I start it, I'm going to want to finish it. I'm not going to want to just give up if I start it.
Did you stop and see Ed McCrary?
No, I don't even know where he is.
he's in Camden, Maine.
Yeah.
I
Now,
remember he told
it was
us.
very, and I have a couple friends up in Maine. I didn't have a chance to stop. It was all very just go, 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 go. Everything was super planned to the minute. And, just the drive up. If I wanted to get some mileage in, I'd drive up, park my car, and practically be running down the trail. So at least I could get some mileage in the first day, that sort of thing. The last day, I woke up at 2:15, couldn't get back to sleep, and finally just got up at 3 and packed my tent. And I only had 3.5 miles left to my car. And this is up near Millinocket, the north end. And I just finished the whole thing in the dark with a headlamp, the last 3.5 miles.
Wow,
Got to my car at 6 in the morning. It was still dark. And just drove home.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like I say, it's pretty impressive, Teresa. So hats off to
Thanks.
you there. I don't think I would even attempt it. I know that I wouldn't be able to do it.
Hey, you could probably do it. The one thing I do is I'm a slower hiker compared to, well, actually, this last time around, I was with the slower through hikers because it's so late in the season that they're the last ones, and I actually was holding my own against them. But usually, through hikers are like racing past me. Um, I start earlier and I hike longer, and I don't take a lot of breaks. That's the only way I can get miles in.
It's very impressive. So,
Holy.
Sherry, do you have anything to offer?
Well, I am struggling horribly with sciatic pain. That's why I'm not in the
Wow.
view. I was trying to sit up. I cannot sit up. I have to like lay. So gratefully, my job is 90% standing. But other than that, my mom just had her 90th birthday, and we rented the White Hill Civic Center where my mother and father, were firemen, and Barbara Novotny came down. Her husband John was a captain of the fire. And all these 90-year-olds were like, the place is so small to think that they had fire trucks in there and fireman balls, like it was just so
Wow.
small. But it was a very nice event. She was surprised. Her birthday's actually December. So we had it 90 days before her 90th birthday.
Aw.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so everything's good over here. Everything's very good. It was a great year for tomatoes and basil and eggplant. Everything I planted just did super well, even though like we know we're in a drought. But I hope the sciatic pain goes away. I don't know what to do about it.
Well, I've never had that happen to me before, so that's
Oh,
a
I have,
Well,
yeah.
as a therapist, I know what to do.
yeah.
It's just wow. You can't sit up.
So it's really
So that's
physician
it.
heal thyself.
What's that?
It really is a physician heal thyself.
Oh yeah, I did that. I keep thinking, like, for example, when I first was sitting here, I was trying to sit in a chair. And I said, I can't, so I moved away, and now it's feeling a lot better. But I was totally out of the view with the other people talking, and I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah, that works out well. All right. Well, with nothing left on our agenda, I guess we stand adjourned. So,
Well,
Okay.